Hi friends, in our time together today, we're going to walk through and learn the hornpipe off to California. It's a delight to play, and I hope that you enjoy it as much as I do. Off to California goes by some other names, Whiskey in a Jar, Fireman's, to name just a couple. We'll follow our usual format. I'll walk us through the tune. It has two parts, and I'll walk us through each and then play the entire thing at a steady pace in the Play Along with Scott section. I'll add a link in the notes to this video so that you can access a page on my website where you could download the music and tabs if you'd like those. We'll talk about any difficulties you may experience, some ornament thoughts, and then we'll talk about the story behind the tune, which a lot of the popular story behind the tune is kind of summed up in the name. Off to California is a hornpipe. I recently shared a brief conversation introducing the hornpipe style. I'll put a card up here at the top for you to access that. And it's a really fun style to play. Remember, with the hornpipe, the printed music is often not representative of how the tune is played. Here, for example, I'll put on the screen, is the first couple of measures of Off to California. You would play, if you were playing it exactly as written, and you kind of want to break out and play it properly. But if you played it as, you often see it written, a hornpipe, that's what you're going to do. And that's not how you're going to play it. I'll just do a couple measures. You just want to keep playing. It is so much fun. So, those are two different ways that if you use the music, you're going to see it written one way and played a completely different one. And that's one of the reasons in Irish music and a lot of musical styles, you don't want to be dependent on the music. So anyway, let's jump into this tune. And the download I've crafted the download in the way you'd play the music. So use Off to California as a way to get yourself into the rhythm of a hornpipe. It's got this delightful swing motion that if you're listening to a hornpipe as you're walking, it's so fun that it's going to alter your step and get you kind of swinging as you walk. Like I said in the previous video, you have to get into the feel of a hornpipe before you can play a hornpipe. So watch videos of people dancing to hornpipe music. That's the key to getting this in. Off to California has two sections, and each section is repeated. That is an A part and a B part, so A, B, B, as we'll say. So each section is kind of broken into pieces that are kind of like a triplet, and then that rhythmic swaying run, and then triplet. And so what I'll do is, as I play each section, I'll play each triplet and then skippy run, and then pause, play the next one. And I'll do that for the A part and the B part. So here's the A part. All right, so that's each section of the A part, and I'll play through the whole tune, including repeats, in a moment. But as you go through the tune, come back and watch me play each section, play along with me. Use YouTube features to slow me down a little if you want. So, as we play through the B part, I'm going to start with that lead-in triplet, and the first Skippy Run section is a little longer, and then you get two more triplet run pieces. So here's the B part. All right, so that's the A part and the B part, kind of broken into those primary sections with some pausing in between. What I'd like to do now in the Play Along with Scott section is I'm going to start at the beginning of Off to California, and then I'm just going to play it through without any ornamentation, as written, but in hornpipe rhythm. So beginning to end, Off to California. And then play along with me on this section of the tune as many times as you need to. There are any huge difficulties in the tune. A lot of it's getting used to it. It's a slightly longer tune than some of the ones we've played. The biggest challenge is getting into that infectious hornpipe feel. Although remember, the triplets are three notes in one equal. Ba-ba-da-bum, ba-dum, ba-dum. And so they get that ba-ba-dum. So it's good to hit that first note a little harder. As far as ornaments, use ones to accentuate the infectious feel. Some great opportunities. I think that throwing in some rolls is fun. I like to use some other grace notes tossed in, great cut tap opportunities. It's a beautiful tune for experimenting. I'll play it in a couple of days. I want you to experiment first to get your own feel. The history of the tune, Off to California, is an older tune, obviously old enough that either the name was changed to adopt the story of Irish people emigrating. I doubt Off to California was the original name. Nothing certain, but from everything I've read. We know the tune existed from the middle of the 19th century because it appears in that middle of the 19th century collection that Francis O'Neill put out as tunes 1628 and 1629. Even back then, there were two versions of this tune. I'm going by the 1628 version with minor modifications based on how most people play it today. Others say, some people say that the tune was written in California. A lot of other people say that the tune was written to represent those who, for the sake of those leaving Ireland, going to California. And some say the tune existed and the name was changed. Flip a coin. Well, coins don't have three sides. So, thinking about timing, California, when the Mexican-American War finished, the treaty was signed in February of 1848. And that's when the territory that we know of as California and some other land became part of America. And California became a state in, I think, 1850. And interestingly, the U.S. got California in 1848. And guess when gold was discovered in California? 1848. Makes me wonder about some timing there. And that was 1840, 1850, kind of the start and the height of some of the potato famine. However we want to describe that horrid tragedy that was experienced in Ireland at that time. And so people were emigrating. That was really the start of the large waves of immigration. There's so much to talk about with that, but we won't get into all of that. So the tune likely existed. It's either at least 1850 and probably before that. But a delight to play. Please, my friends, enjoy playing Off to California, Whiskey in a Jar, whichever tune you want to go by. But remember, play it as a hornpipe in that style and learn the style. Until next time, this is Scott Shade. Happy low D whistling.